you're listening to this, I have bad news. The rapper Dave Blunt is going to die, and he's going to die a tragic and painful fat person death. It happens all the time. Look at Biggie Smalls. He was fat, he died. We also had the rapper Big Pun, the fattest man that's ever existed. Well, Big Pun died because of his fatness. The person that signed Big Pun, Fat Joe, I mean, the name says it all. Fat Joe is a fatso himself. Now, Fat Joe is still alive, but he had to pay a price, and a severe price. I mean, look at Fat Joe walk. When you see Fat Joe walking, his right leg is literally walking the opposite direction of his entire body. These are the consequences of being a fatso. See, people think they can be fat for a couple of years and they're not going to pay a price. Boy, are they wrong. You see, that Fat Joe knee was withstanding 300, 400 pounds for years. Eventually, something has to give. The foundation's going to give out. It's basic engineering. And so now Fat Joe in his later years, instead of enjoying retirement, he has to be criticized on the internet. Everybody's talking about his fat guy knees. It's all people ever talk about anymore when it comes to Fat Joe. His entire legacy erased, overshadowed by his fat guy knees. Look at Rick Ross. Rick Ross is another infamous fat guy rapper. Every time we turn our backs on Rick Ross, when we look back, there he is again having an epileptic seizure. Oh my God, there's Rick Ross. He's found unconscious on the floor of his mansion. Again, let's rush him to the hospital. Fat guy problems. I mean, it's always something with these fat people. And it's always these fat rappers. BX the Plug, the guy from Texas, give his fat ass 2 years and see what happens. High blood pressure through the roof, can't get an erection, dying on his deathbed. Give him a couple of years. Sleep apnea. These people can't sleep apnea. Fat guy neck, fat guy back. Now, keep in mind, all these rappers I just mentioned, half of the ones I mentioned are already dead because fat guy. The other half is literally falling apart. Fat guy knees, fat guy back, fat guy pains. Lethal shits. I mean, borderline radioactive shits when these people go to the bathroom. It's a disaster. When these people go to the bathroom, which is multiple times per day, it's literally an event. It's borderline a natural disaster that happens, an ecological disaster. Now, keep in mind, all the people I mentioned, all these fat-ass rappers with bad knees and hypertension and blood pressure, none of them come even close to the rapper Dave Blunt. So what does that say about Dave Blunt? Now, I look at the guy and I see a lot of problems. And by the way, you can take it from me and because you could even consider my advice as medical advice because, I do have sex with a medical doctor. So at this point, I'm basically a doctor. When I see Dave Blunt, I am concerned as a medical doctor. My concern with Dave Blunt is who's washing this man's ass? We've all seen and we've all learned through watching My 600-Pound Life, these people need somebody to come and hose down their ass. These people can't wash in between their crevices on their own because of the weight. Dave Blunt is a guy who sits 18, 19 hours out of the 24 hours in the day. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's to the point where he's so morbidly obese, he only gets up to go sit down somewhere else. Now, by the way, that's how you know you're an elite level fat ass. When the only reason you ever get up is to go sit down somewhere else. I mean, this is peak level fatso. Now, the elite level fatness is so high and so profound that the other day, the stage people, the people that organized this event, had to go to Bob's Furniture or Ashley's Furniture to buy a $300 couch just so Dave Blunt's fat ass would be able to perform with an oxygen tank, by the way. There was a big old oxygen tank right rammed up his nose because he can't breathe, he can't catch his breath while he's sitting down performing on stage. And I'm just sitting there watching this and thinking, wow, this is complete lunacy. It reminds me of the times where I used to go to Golden Corral and the fat American people would just walk in. Or when I used to be a teenager working at McDonald's. And this big, blonde, fat woman would walk in her mobile scooter with an oxygen tank in the back. And she had this thing called elephantiasis. Look it up, elephantiasis. I'm not even making this up. She was literally turning into an elephant. You get to a point of being such a fat ass that the body says, okay, God says, you know what? You want to be an elephant? You want to be a fat ass? Okay, we'll turn you into an elephant. And the condition is called elephantiasis. And your legs are literally that of an elephant. Look it up. Google it. That's what Google's for. People think I'm making this stuff up. This is reality we're talking about here, folks. And I remember her fat ass would just come into the restaurant, McDonald's, and just order 2 breakfast meals just for her with a gigantic orange juice, 2 of them. Of course, I would never forget she would always order an extra hash brown for both meals. Of course she would. And then I just sit back and watch her stuff her. She had this little fat girl mouth. And she would stuff it with little pieces of hotcakes and, a little sausage bite. And the little crumbs are coming out of her mouth and then a hash brown. And then she'll dog that shit and she'll scarf it down with a drink of orange juice. And I remember just gagging. I don't even know why I just gagged at all that food in that mouth. It was disgusting. Elephantitis. All I wanted to do at that time was go behind her and disconnect the oxygen tank to see what happens. And you know what the problem is with these people? Because these people have gotten to the point where they can't care for themselves anymore. The problem is the people around them. Who are these people that are around Dave Blunts? Who are the people that are coming around to wash Dave Blunts' ass? Somebody has to do it. Who's lifting up Dave Blunts' folds and washing in between them? Because if you don't, they're going to start developing boils. Look at my 600-pound life. It's literally the case of every single fatso on that show. The folds in between these people's bodies are rotting away. It's rotting away flesh. You lift up one of these folds, it smells like pussy. Like a pussy that hasn't been cared for. Who are the people that are helping Dave Blunts urinate? We saw him on stage. The first thing I do whenever I see people on stage, I look at their bulge. I see what they're working with. When I see guys, I want to see what kind of package are they working with. So I check out the bulge. When I look at Dave Blunts' cock region, there's nothing there. So what does that say? Where there was once a dick, it has now been overtaken by fat. There's a thick layer of fat that's covering his penile region. So who are the people that are enabling Dave Blunts by lifting up the big fold? Not only that, it gets even worse. You're supposed to roll it back, the fat around his dick, roll it back to expose the head so he can properly urinate inside of a toilet or in a bathtub or even in a sink. Who are these people rolling back the fat around Dave Blunts' little tiny dick to expose it so he can urinate properly? These are the people responsible, and these are the people that are going to be responsible for the death of this poor guy. Hasn't Dave Blunts been through enough? The guy grew up in a shelter. His mom was a crackhead. His dad died when he was 8 years old. Hasn't this man gone through enough already? My question is, Dave Blunts has already made a lot of money. Why isn't a guy like Dave Blunts having a nurse with him at all time, 24/7, with an IV bag and a needle directly into his jugular vein, inject him 24 hours in a day with Ozempic, with fat loss medications? But no. Instead, the other day they were celebrating the success of Dave Blunts. And how do they celebrate the success of Dave Blunts? Well, while Dave Blunts was on his deathbed with an oxygen tank and IV bags all over to keep him alive, his team comes in to celebrate his latest accomplishments by bringing him a gigantic cake just for one guy, a gigantic cake for this fat ass to eat. And never crossed these people's mind, hey, well, you know what? This is our talent and we're making a shitload of money off of this guy. I think it would benefit us most if we keep this guy alive. So how about we don't bring him a cake? How about we bring him a mango? He likes sweets. Dave Blunts likes sweets. Let's bring him a mango, a fruit. Or a bag of grapes. Yeah, because maybe then he'll lose some weight and I won't have to come every 15 minutes to roll back the fat around his dick so he can piss properly. He doesn't piss all over his balls and thighs. Maybe, just maybe. No, these people aren't thinking about any of this stuff. And that's why Dave Blunts is going to die very soon. Dave Blunts, if you're listening to this, you need new management. Your management should either be me or that guy, that Indian guy from my 600-pound life. The guy who always asks the fat people like you, why are you so fat? And that's what you need, unless you want to die. If you want to die, then go ahead and eat away your pains. But you need a person every single day reminding you. As soon as you wake up, asking you, telling you, hey, Dave Blunts, why are you fat again? You woke up again this morning and you woke up fat. What's going on? Is everything okay at home? Is everything fine? Constantly remind you how much of a fat ass you are, because Dave Blunts, you are going to die. Very soon, you are going to die, my friend. What are you going to do about it? What was all the success for if you're going to die in a couple months and you didn't even have any sex? So let me get this straight. Before, you were just a regular fat ass who would just rap and be in his room all day. You didn't get any sex back then. You didn't have any clout and you were fat. Excessively fat. Now you have a lot of clout, but now you're physically not able to have sex because your dick has been engulfed by body fat. So again, I'm going to ask you, Dave Blunts, what's it all for? This life that you're living, what's it all for? It's literally going nowhere. Since I'm a nice guy, here's my medical advice. Hire yourself a nurse with an IV bag with all the vitamins and minerals your body needs to sustain itself. And you're going to be injecting those vitamins and minerals into your bloodstream every couple hours, and you will no longer eat a single thing for the next year. That fat mouth of yours is shut down for the rest of the year. Your body has enough body fat to sustain itself and cannibalize itself for the next year with no problem. It should be no problems. Take it from me. I'm a medical doctor. Now, you can take my advice and change your life and survive and live the greatest life ever. Or you can die being a fat ass. You decide either way. I don't care. I don't care. Not my business. Not my problem. I'm not the fat ass. I'm not the one that's dying in the hospital bed with an oxygen tank. I'm not the one that has to get an Ashley Furniture sofa, cheap Ashley Furniture sofa, $300, to put it on stage because I can't stand up for more than 5 minutes at a time. So you do what you want, Dave Blunts. And if you need my services as a manager, well, then you can always contact me. It's going to cost $1 million. Because you need to have sex, Dave Blunts. That's why. You need to have sex, and I'm worried about you not having any sex. You accomplished the hardest thing. You got clout. You're all clouded up. But you're not having sex, Dave Blunts. What's it all for, my friend?